What up, everybody?
What up?
What up, what up? Toddy B here with my man, Rafael Lorente. We are here, so fresh and so green.
Verde.
So green. The quad.
The quad.
We made it. The quad.
SFNSG Part 4.
4, that's right. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate everybody listening to our banter, talking about soccer. The past episodes have been great. We've got a lot of knowledge and a lot of build-up coming up with Austin FC. Things are moving, shaking. I've personally done the tour of the stadium. I've seen it.
Dope.
My own eyes. It's amazing. $250 million stadium being built right before our eyes for Austin's first professional sports team.
Austin's
That's a
got
big
protein.
deal.
Look, mama, I made it.
That's a big deal, though. Like,
It's huge.
I'm so excited. And the buzz, again, we keep talking about the buzz is amazing. Buzz is amazing. But, you know, the marketing behind this machine.
Different level.
I mean, jerseys are selling out big numbers.
The number one, like, most sought-after jersey.
Insane.
20,000 people on a wait list.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to jump on the bus. We're able to talk about it. We have a platform with 12 Rivers Realty here. Thank you, 12 Rivers Productions, for being amazing to let us do this. Josh and Fern, we love you. We've got some stuff to talk about a little bit here and there, but really, we've got a really cool guest on the show today. And it's Tom Webb. He's the Vice President of Public Relations and Broadcast.
It's a lot of words.
A lot of words. Big title, big personality. Tom's great. We're really excited to talk to Tom. He has his finger on the pulse. Obviously, he's a part of a lot of the decision making. He knows a lot behind the scenes. I have a feeling he's going to give us some nuggets, maybe some exclusives today. So I'm really excited about that. You know, the season is starting, actually. A lot of people are asking what's going on with the season. When's the first game? When's the first home game? You know, we got the first game is set for April 17th. That is an away game, LAFC, which is a huge opener. Huge opener. So we're going to kick off that the season with that. Our first home game, logistics says that the stadium needs to be a little bit more complete.
Some quirks.
Gonna ease into the season.
Yeah, June 19th.
June 19th will be the first home game. We're super excited about that. That is going to be against San Jose, which is right.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Earthquakes. Yeah, what's
San Jose
crazy is like
Earthquakes.
since we did our last So Fresh and So Green, I mean, what's happened, right?
A lot.
A team.
A team has been formed. There's now a squad. They're
Right.
practicing.
It's like
they've
you
had
s-
scrimmages. Like,
It's like you saw me, and the next time I have a baby, like, hey, what's going on?
how's your kid? He's 9.
Hey. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
No, but that's 100% correct. So since we've seen you guys last, lots has happened. We've fielded a whole team, literally. We've had a couple scrimmages. We are in preseason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gearing up.
Gearing
We're
up.
a couple weeks away from, by the time you guys see this, we'll be just creeping up to the first game. So that'll be lovely. We're excited about that. We're excited about all the new partnerships that Austin FC has. They're bringing a lot of good local brands to the table. Obviously Q2 is the stadium. We've got Yeti on the jerseys. We got Netspin on the sleeves, and Double Dave's, all kinds of food vendors, et cetera, et cetera. So we will soon enough see more about that when we get to go to the games, because that's where it's going to be. So I'm super excited about that. Super pumped. But I'm also super pumped to let you guys hear about Tom Webb, what Tom Webb has to say.
We got to ask him some of these questions.
He's going to have a lot of knowledge. Just to give you guys a little bit of background about Tom, he's been in sports for quite a long time, most of his professional career, everything from F1 race teams to COTA to the Olympics, and now he is at home in Austin FC. So he is from the UK.
He's got a dope accent.
He's definitely got a dope accent.
Yeah.
He is, I don't know, we'll see what kind of fan he is or who his team is.
Better make the right choice.
He better make the right choice. I have a good idea who his team is going to be. But anyway, we're excited to jump on a call with Tom. So let's go ahead and get that underway. All right, everybody. We have with us today Tom Webb, the VP of Public Relations and Broadcast with Austin FC. Tom, thanks for being here. How are you, sir?
I am very well indeed. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we know you're a busy man. Quite a lot of stuff going on right now with the season about to start. Stadium's 99%. Let's call it 90. Where are we at, you think?
I would say
Completion
somewhere
rate.
between 95 and 100%. Somewhere.
I love it.
I had a quick question on that. If I could just jump in.
Let's do it.
Is the reason, and I know we're just kind of jumping forward a little bit, but is the reason that the first home game is a couple months after the season starts to give them additional time to complete the stadium, or is that just logistics?
So our president, Andy Loughnane, is on record as having said there were some infrastructure projects that need to be completed for the stadium to be able to open. So that is what is continuing to be worked on. The stadium itself is, as I say, jokes aside, I mean, it's kind of 95 to 100% complete, but there's some bits and pieces around it that need to be finished. Once those are finished, we will be all set. But we're prepped. We're ready for June 19th opener. There's a lot of work to be done between now and then, but that is when we're going to be open for business with MLS in Austin.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's gonna be here before we know it. I know that the anticipation of the stadium has been amazing. The feedback in the city, the buzz has been amazing. That's undeniable. Jumping not too far ahead real fast, we wanted to get a little bit more of information about you though, Tom. We know a little bit about your background. You were involved in F1 with Coda before you came over to the States. Give us a little bit of rundown so our audience knows a little bit more about you other than just working with Austin FC.
Well, you're giving away all the secrets. I usually tell people I'm from a kind of weird part of Texas where they have this strange accent, and it does get some confused looks. Actually, most people think I'm Australian, which it always confuses me, but I'm not. So, very firmly not Australian. Originally from the UK. I moved here in 2014 to go and work at Coda. Spent some time there and then met my very beautiful, lovely wife here in Austin. We got married here. We went off for about a year to Bermuda, where I worked for the America's Cup. If you don't know the America's Cup, it's a massive sailing competition. So while my wife had a fantastic year living on a beautiful island, I was doing similar hours to that which we're doing at the moment for Austin FC. And then we spent a couple of years up in Park City, Utah, where I was working for the US Olympic ski and snowboard team before coming back to Austin in June 2019 to come and work for Austin FC. And really, couldn't be happier. But my background, as you say, is Formula One. I worked for Formula One for a team and for sponsors and for drivers and for all sorts of people and organizations associated with Formula One for many, many years. But before that was with Red Bull for a while. I worked for a couple of agencies and sort of grew up in the world of PR, communications and sports marketing since, way back when, many, many years. Now firmly here in Austin, absolutely proud and honored to be part of Austin FC and part of a team that is bringing Major League Soccer to this amazing city.
Awesome. And we thank you for that 100%. Were you a soccer fan before any of the previous things you listed?
I mean, listen, mate, I'm English,
Yeah, no, stupid question. Yeah, I get it.
Answer this correctly, Tom. Who's your club?
That's what I was gonna say. Let's jump to the next question then. Who's your team, bud?
There is only one team. It's Manchester United.
No.
I love
it.
There is no debate about that. I was very lucky early in my career to do a little work for Vodafone, who were Man United's shirt sponsors back in the day, jersey sponsors as we call them here. But yeah, I grew up as a what I grew up calling football, but as a soccer fan. One of my earliest memories is listening to a European Cup final that Nottingham Forest were playing when they won under Brian Clough. I grew up as a United fan. It's kind of in my family. We have family from the northwest of England, but I come from the southeast of England. And what they say in England is you are you're a City supporter. If you're from outside Manchester, you're a United supporter. So I fit the mold very, very well. But yeah, United is my team now alongside Austin FC, obviously.
Okay, so that's enough United talk on the show for today. So just going back to your F1 comment, switching gears, have you seen the F1 doc on Netflix?
It's funny because for me, it's like checking in with friends. Every single episode of that is featuring people that I've worked with for a long time, that I know. I like Will Buxton, one of the presenters on that. Will and I, are good friends. We worked for a long time together. There's a guy called Ted Kravitz, who actually I don't think appears in Drive to Survive too often. Ted is one of the pit lane reporters for Sky, so it gets seen on ESPN and here in the States. And people like Jenny Gow, who was on that new third season. Jenny joined the BBC 5 Live team covering Formula One at the same sort of time that I started working for a team. So, yeah, it's funny. I watch those and I'm like, that mechanics, I know what his nickname is. I'll tell you about mechanics. I'll tell you about nicknames sometime. But yeah, I mean, my ex-boss, Cyril Abitable, was one of the stars of the first 2 seasons. I worked with him for a couple of years. It's funny. It makes me quite homesick watching it because there's so much of my past in that show, but in those shows, but love it.
I binged all 3 episodes. It's so fascinating. Anyway,
well, look, one day we could do a Formula One chat. I can tell you all sorts of things about what really goes on in that sport.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that.
That sounds fun, actually.
You would enjoy that. Well, let's stick to soccer on this one. So we got plenty to talk about. So a couple things have happened. We had the first official scrimmage against Oklahoma. Wasn't really a publicized thing. I do know for the listeners out there that don't know, I believe if they were keeping score, we won that game 4-0. Can you give us any feedback on that, or did you have any insight on how that was? How did we look? Was it specifically a scrimmage? Was it a friendly? How was it?
So we have played 2 pre-season scrimmages. Okay. So we did one against OKC and we did one against Louisville. They are very much as they are described. It is a scrimmage against both of those. It is different sets of players. While the score lines might give you one story, what they don't tell you is kind of really what the objectives were of those matches. Actually, in a funny way, it's like Formula One. If you've watched those Drive to Survive series, what you might see is they do a little bit of conversation about pre-season testing and about what happens in Formula One. And it's the same in pre-season. Pre-season is designed to build teams up to a certain level of performance that the coaching staff want them to hit in preparation for the first match. And when we talk about those scrimmages, what we're looking at is not the fully formed, complete team. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be trying certain things. So, I know fans are extremely hungry to find out what's going on in those games. Sure. As we speak, we are on the verge of La Copita. We're on the verge of the 3 matches that we're going to play against Texas rivals, which we are going to be streaming at least 2 of those games. Cool. And those are, the sort of matches where we actually want to be able to report on them. So what I can tell you is, people within the team were pretty happy with how those 2 preseason scrimmages went, but really nothing more than that.
Understand. And jumping back to La Copita, is that just an organized tournament within the teams? I know it's Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and I think Oklahoma, correct? OKC?
So OKC are stepping in to help out in one of those matches, I think because there is a scheduling conflict for one of the other teams. But La Copita is something we're really, really excited about. When we presented that, we wanted to make sure that people were aware that this could be a multi-year thing. We're not seeing this as just a 2021 event. Our rivalries with Houston, with Dallas, are going to be absolutely critical to the kind of narratives that we want to be able to build upon for years to come. So being able to start our first preseason with playing our 2 MLS rivals here in Texas is great. And we wanted to make sure that it had an identity and that it wasn't just kind of, throwaway games. I mean, it's not. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And it's something that we would like to see, and I think we'll see repeated for years to come.
And what was the date on those? I didn't catch that when La Copita starts.
So we play Houston Dynamo on April the 3rd. That is live streamed on the OSC app. And I'm going to put my hat on now, my corporate hat, and say download the app if you haven't yet. It was launched. We're speaking on the last day of March. It was launched on the iTunes Store and Google Play yesterday, on the 30th of March. So it is available to download. And if I say so myself. It is an awesome piece of kit.
It is.
So we play Houston Dynamo on April the 3rd. We play FC Dallas on April the 7th. And then we play San Antonio FC on April the 10th.
Got it. And will there be a winner? Is it just all friendlies? I mean, it's technically a tournament. I mean, what are we calling it? I guess It
is La Copita, the best little cup in Texas. So we are there will be a cup. There will be a cup that will be awarded. We will definitely be keeping very close eye on the scores and who's winning and who's losing. And a cup will be awarded at the end. We want to make sure that comes home to Austin.
Got it.
So he kind of, I mean, you translated La Copita means, right, little cup, small cup. Will the trophy be to scale?
It depends on your definition of little. I don't want to get into that on a podcast.
Yeah.
I was going to go somewhere with that, but that's fine.
So I got a question that someone asked me, and I didn't know the answer. Maybe you can shed some light. Why is Austin Bold not included in La Copita?
So preseason matches were worked out well in advance, and the conversations for sporting teams was what led to that schedule. It really is as simple as that. We announced the calendar, and we're very excited about the games that we've got to come.
Got it. Do you also touched on rivals? Do you see? I guess who's going to be our rival? I mean, there's been talks of obviously the Crew, Seattle, Portland. I mean, sorry,
Portland. Yeah.
Obviously Dallas, Houston,
Columbus Crew for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Tom? All the above?
Well, I would let the fans decide that. And in one sense, there will be rivalries that will emerge that we may not even be aware of yet. There may be, opposing sets of supporters who decide that they want to have a really strong rivalry based on things like, we're the live music capital of the world. Does Nashville want to kind of stand up and try and music crown from us? I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, the obvious rivalries are Houston and Dallas. They're our Texas neighbors. We want to be, and we believe that we have everything in our power to be the greatest team in Texas. I think there was a local publication which recently announced that we're already the favorite team, which I'm sure didn't go down very well with our colleagues in Houston and Dallas. But I think that the rivalries will kind of build their own characters over the and years to come. But I think when we look at who's on our doorstep, Houston and Dallas are the obvious ones. I do think one of the things that you may start to see is we have this amazing opportunity here in this city. Where I come from in England, when you grow up in a small town or in a big city, even if you grow up in London, a lot of the rivalries that exist between clubs are actually kind of city-based. And Austin has never had that. Austin has never had the opportunity to say Austin is taking on LA. Austin is taking on Portland. Austin is taking on Nashville, for example. This is one of the great things about soccer, is that it not only pits kind of club against club, supporters against supporters, it's literally city versus city. So when we think about it, one of the things that we think about quite a lot is how do we energize our entire city to want to stand up and be proud in Austin. And that's one of the kind of rivalry things that we think is really interesting, because then you're not just talking to soccer fans, you're talking to everybody who's proud of living in this city. And, if there's anything that we know as people from, who are either born and bred here or have moved here, one of the things that unites us all is an incredibly deep love of this city and a pride in ATX and in Austin that finally has a kind of platform to be played out, pitted against other cities.
I love it. Well, you're talking to a unicorn right here, my friend. So I can definitely relate to that. Born and bred. So,
quick question for you. Toddy here's got your title VP of Public Relations and Broadcast. Is that right?
That is right.
That's fascinating because I'm kind of a nerd in terms of the behind the scenes stuff, especially when you're forming a club. And before we even started drafting players, and we've got an incredible club, really well balanced, which we can jump into later. But before all that happened, The Voice was hired, right? And what a get. ADrian Healy, to me, that gets me juiced up. Could you peel back the curtain a little bit? Were you part of the team that brought him on? What did that look like? Were there a bunch of people interested in it? How did we? I mean, I was shocked that we got somebody of that caliber. So I'll kind of let you take it from there.
So I was extremely disappointed. We've got one English person. The last thing that we need is another English person coming in, stealing my thunder.
Dare them.
you only need one English person, in a soccer team. No, obviously not. ADrian is a huge get for us. I wasn't part of that. That was discussions that were conducted by people much more senior to me and with a much better vision than I would ever have of anything like this. But, ADrian has commentated on more ESPN MLS games than anybody else. The man's commentated on World Cups, Olympic Games, Champions Leagues, you name it, he's done it. I know that the only club that he would have ever entertained the opportunity of joining to leave ESPN is Austin FC. He is going to bring an authority, an experience, a knowledge of the game, a level of professionalism and credibility that means everybody tuning into what we're going to be broadcasting here in Austin is going to know the game. Equally importantly, sitting alongside him is Michael Lahoud as our analyst. And, we could not be happier to have Michael. A group of us were involved in being able to bring Michael in. And I think they're going to be such a good pair. ADrian, with his experience and knowledge of the game going back, decades, and Michael with his experience of the game from kind of pitch level, both as an MLS player and as a USL player. The two of them, I think, are going to be a really, really exceptional broadcast commentary pair.
Yeah, for like the people that are, Austin FC, Toddy and I have been talking about it for a while. It's just going to take the city by storm. And we can kind of circle back to that article. I'm sure you've been privy to it even before it was published, talking about how the tentacles of the Austin FC marketing vehicle is just incredible. I mean, it's already like the most popular jersey. It's got a legion of fans and nobody's even kicked the ball yet, right? So I can only imagine for the people that are just getting into football and getting into soccer and tuning in and they hear ADrian, it's like, well, this is what it's supposed to sound like. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea. This is so amazing because we have such a great team on the mic. So I'm really stoked.
And I think that's, it's a sign of a couple of things. One is the commitment that our ownership team and our front office and leadership team have to being the best possible product. We're not cutting corners on any areas. The stadium is a truly world-class stadium. $260 million privately financed stadium that is going to be something incredibly special. The training facility, St. David's Performance Center, $45 million of private investment, again, going into giving the players a world-class facility. Wow. And then, the TV product, free to air here in Austin. So anybody in the greater metropolitan area will be able to tune in and watch all of our regionally broadcast matches live and for free. Not only that, but with this incredibly experienced lead commentator, and then somebody who really knows the game inside out, helping describe the action and bring the thing to life. So, yeah, I mean, this is all part of doing the right by our city. Is presenting Austin FC to our supporters, to our fans, and to the whole community in a way that everybody can engage with and can feel pride in. If we weren't doing that, I don't think we'd be doing right by the city of Austin, which is our home.
Can I have another one? I have another question for you then. And
yes, you can have another one.
I have so many. I'm like, me in the back. Outside of jumping into the club itself, I'm always fond of understanding, and this is a treat for me, being able to chat with you, exactly what kind of goes on behind the scenes with ADrian and all this stuff. Q2, right? When they were named, when they got the stadium, like we had an episode earlier when we were kind of talking about, is it Yeti, is it
Whole Foods,
is it all these
Dell,
Kendra
all
Sky,
the names,
all of them, right? And
12 Rivers Realty.
Yeah, hey, plug. So we were shameless plug. We were trying to figure out exactly kind of, do you have any behind the curtains of how this kind of evolved? I was surprised.
I mean, I'm the PR guy. They tell me like 10 minutes before, here you go, announce this, and that's it. No, I've been lucky enough, and that is how it happened with 12 Rivers Realty, by the way.
That's right.
It was very quick, and I mean, who knows how that
Appreciate that.
Cheers.
And I don't know where that deal went, but
they one-upped us.
For sure.
They got it.
We came in second. You can say it now. So for naming rights, 12 Rivers Realty was going to take it, and Q2 came in over the top.
They got us.
It's weird though, because there were all these Twitter speculations about what it was going to be, and that was the one name that was missing. And we all in the front office were saying, "Where is that name? Why is nobody?" Anyway.
Well, I'm glad we're not alone here.
yeah, right. So I've been lucky enough to work for some very big sports teams throughout my career. I've worked in the Olympics. I've worked in Formula One. I've worked in some and sponsorship acquisition is a large part of what a lot of sports teams are engaged with. We are extremely fortunate here in Austin that we have so many amazing partners. But Austin is also, an interesting commercial proposition because this is home to a lot of very big business. You think about not only the kind of homegrown brands like Yeti, like Q2, like St. David's Healthcare, like Netspend, down to Double Dave's Pizza, not even down to them, across to Double Dave's Pizza, and a lot of those brands that are partners of Austin FC. But it's also a city that has not had major league representation before. So, what you haven't had is a nationally televised week in, week out major league sports team. Obviously not nationally televised week in, week out, but you haven't had a major league sports team for those brands to be able to invest in. And Austin FC comes along not only as the first major league sports team, but with a team and a brand that is very reflective of modern America. It's young, it's diverse, it is tech forward, it is exciting, it's dynamic. So the MLS brand itself is an extremely attractive proposition for commercial investment. So I think from a partnership perspective, as I say, we are honored, humbled, proud that we have so many amazing partners. And I will tell you that, we continue to add names to our partnership roster. Just today, we've announced what the food and beverage options are going to be in Q2 Stadium. And I think we have 13 or 14 different local brands from Bowed Up to Pluckers to One Taco, Taco Deli. There's a whole range of different local brands who are all part of our food and beverage options at the stadium. So we're blessed. We're in a very, very good city. We're in a city that didn't have major league sports representation. And we have a lot of brands who are very, very keen to be part of the storytelling around what makes this city so special. And that's kind of where we find ourselves. Obviously, 12 Rivers is at the front of that.
And let's just
hands
after this, we're going to totally edit a breaking news Bowed Up at Q2 Stadium. You hear it first. It's got to happen, right?
Yep.
12 Rivers.
You're welcome. It did come out this morning, so it won't be hearing it.
No. We're going to edit that part out, Tom. But yes. So you're saying it here for the first time? Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, we're definitely a foodie city. We've become a foodie city,
awesome.
and I think, I was fortunate enough to tour the stadium and to see where all the things are going to be in the stadium and touch the grass, feel the grass, not step on the grass, et cetera. So that's awesome that we have all those local brands. I think Valentino's Barbecue is on that list, a handful of others.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that's going to be awesome. So they're going to get...
Valentina's is amazing. I mean, so
I live
good.
by it.
Yeah.
I live by it.
Really?
I was 15 pounds lighter in January. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I love that spot.
The other thing we've announced is one of the outlets there is going to be the queso fountain. I should say very clearly, it's
breaking
not a fountain.
News.
It's breaking news. It's not a fountain of queso. Right?
Oh man, stop there, Tom.
No.
Well,
ruined it.
I'm not sure anybody wants to be kind of double dipping into
Todd?
queso. I don't know, but we're going to have a range of queso options, available at the stadium. I will tell you, my phone, when I write the word question, on a text, my phone autocorrects to queso. I've written that word so many times.
You're a Texan now.
And I'm fully right. So, when we could do this, when my family would come over from the UK, and we would take them to Kirby Lane so they could try Kirby queso. We would take them to Torchy's. We would take them to what I know to be the number one, which is Fraser's, which has
Okay.
In Austin. No debate. And after a while, my mum kind of worked out that we weren't just going to restaurants; we were just going to places that do really good queso. So
we eat cheese.
Yeah, exactly. Melty cheese. But at the root of that is one of the things that this city is very, very good at. Not just food overall, but specifically queso. So we will have that at Q2 Stadium.
I love it. One thing I was curious about too is, I know the squad is training right now at St. Ed's. Are they going to do any type of open practice for any of us, as say Austinites, to take a peek? Is there any sneak peeks, anything like that you could divulge if they're planning on doing anything that maybe before La Copita?
So breaking news, still not
sound effects.
Not 100% breaking news, but it is kind of breaking news, sort of.
Okay.
We were training at St. Ed's.
Okay.
We moved into St. David's Performance Center this week.
Awesome.
So the team has started training there this week. It is an absolutely outstanding facility.
Amazing.
Awesome.
I've been lucky enough to go to Man United's training facility. I went to Liverpool's training facility. I've been to a few Arsenal's and a few others back in the UK. That was by far the worst, by the way.
I was actually hoping you didn't catch that. I was like, good choice. Oh, he heard me. Okay, never mind.
It was very dull. It was very regimented. And it kind of, they were just moaning about lack of success. And
can you imagine back where you're from, that you just did a 5-minute dialogue about queso, right? And you're switching over to like Manchester United and Arsenal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll talk. We can talk about Arsenal's mid-table mediocrity.
Hey! It's fresh. It's too fresh. It's too soon.
So we St. David's Performance Center. Currently, there are no plans for kind of open practice there. But who knows what might happen in the future? I honestly couldn't tell you. What I could tell you is the facility there is absolutely unbelievable. We have multiple pitches. We have what we call the super pitch, which is 2 full-size pitches, which have exactly the same grass, the same turf that we have at Q2 Stadium, which, by the way, is also the grass that are using in Qatar for the 22 World Cup.
Wow.
What the players will be training on at St. David's Performance Center is what they'll be playing on at Q2 Stadium. Our groundskeeper and his staff are working tirelessly to keep that in the best possible condition and get it ready for, not just for them to be training on day in, day out, but also for the matches at Q2. But then there's also it's home to our academy, and I think it's an important point, because I really want to make sure that people are aware of this. Our academy is central to the development and growth of Austin FC. Our academy GM, Tyson Wall, has said on record that he would like to see a player from Central Texas competing in the 2026 World Cup. Wow. He believes that the talent bed here in Austin and in Central Texas is big enough for us to be able to find and develop a player who could be competing on home soil in that FIFA World Cup in 26. He's also to see a player every year graduate from the academy up into the first team. We currently have 3 teams competing at U13, U14, and U15 level. We have some extremely talented people there, helping guide those young people through the early stages of their careers. There is a seamless link between the academy setup and our first team setup, which is hugely inspirational and is a really important part of the investment there, is making sure that next generation of players that we want to see come through the Austin FC ranks are training on truly world-class facilities and in close proximity to their first-team colleagues. Back to your original question, I don't know about open practice sessions. That's one of those things where I would just have to say, I don't know.
Sure.
But it is an amazing facility, and one day we will be able to get some people out there to go and show them when COVID protocols allow.
Yeah, that would be amazing if and when. I feel like maybe that was a pre-COVID thing.
Yeah,
If that ship has sailed, maybe we'll catch that next season. Who knows? Things are ever changing, right? Yeah, that would be amazing. Though. I mean, I don't know if they can facilitate all of us yahoos, though.
Here's a quick question. I was just going through the schedule today, and I realized that we have like 11 games over the weekend. Do you know if that? I know you're not the schedule maker, but there's a lot of Saturday and Sunday games, which is kind of cool, right? And I just didn't know if that was intentional or if that was just a scheduling quirk.
When we were planning in the early stages of planning what we're going to be doing, because obviously we don't set the schedule, that's done by MLS.
Right.
One of the things that we were talking about was how the majority of games would be on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. And then we would have other games taking place on a Sunday and some of the games taking place on midweek. So I think we've always known that majority of games are going to be on a Saturday evening. So yeah, that didn't really come as a huge surprise to us. One of the things we were very pleased about was the number of nationally televised matches that are going to be taking place. I think it's 11 in total. Which, in kicking off with that match against LAFC as our inaugural game on the 17th, on Big Fox. It's on, Fox nationwide, which is absolutely huge. Huge. I don't think the Saturday thing was a particular shock to us. If anything, I think that's awesome. I mean, it gives people a chance to kind of get into the spirit of it and then come and enjoy Q2 when we get to that point.
Absolutely. You want to talk about the team a little bit, Todd?
Yeah, let's do it. I know Raph's all about the team.
I'm geeking out. So
you've been ready.
We have 3 DP slots. We've used 2, right? I've heard a bunch of conversation in terms of maybe just holding one off, and I mean it's been funny because you hear a lot of people in these groups and threads and supporters groups talking about how there hasn't been a lot of big DP signings, but that's across MLS. It's not just and I mean we got Pochettino and we've got some really good players coming in. I'm super excited it's balanced. Have you noticed kind of a trend because of the way it is in the global game that there isn't as many DP signings as there has been in the past?
I wouldn't say that I've noticed that specifically. What I think is important to note is the quality of players that are coming into MLS. And also, when you now start to look at some of the sums that are being exchanged for players coming from MLS into other teams, particularly in Europe, you're looking at the incredibly strong health of this league. We are very, very excited about what Cecilio Dominguez, what Tomas Pochettino, what Rodney Redes, what Alexander Ring, what Matt Miesler, Diego, Danny Paret, the players that our sporting director, our head coach, and all of our soccer operations staff have amassed, we're very, very excited about them. I don't think, on the DP front overall, I think that there has been a trend in years past, for perhaps older players to come into this league. I think one of the things you're starting to see now is the strength and health of MLS means that perhaps those older players maybe don't want to come. There's pure speculation on my behalf, but I think what they do want to do, is younger, hungry, dynamic, exciting players know that this is a league that they want to come and play in. I can tell you, as a Brit who moved to Austin, and from my Formula One experience, and it's a slightly kind of sidebar point, but one of the things that international sports folk look at when they come to America is the quality of life here. This place is unbeatable in terms of what your quality of life can be like, and I think that is highly, highly attractive to a whole range of different people. Whether or not that has an impact on somebody's thought processes, they're thinking, do I take an offer from a club in Europe or a club in the USA? I think one of the things that the European teams, I suspect, are terrified about over the long term is the day when that is just a straight choice between, do I go to Europe, do I go to the USA? I personally think that 2026 is going to be the one of the great kind of factors in that. I think the US national men's national team is increasingly packed full of young, extremely good talent. I can tell you from an England team perspective, we've always been terrified that the USA is going to get it right. and that one day, when this country really gets it right, it'll dominate world football.
I mean, look at the top clubs. To your point, like Dest on Barcelona, Pulisic with Chelsea, McKinney. Like we are loaded right now. Loaded.
Well, Alphonso Davies coming out of here and going to Europe. I mean, I mean, an astounding player. Next to Luke Shaw, possibly the best left back in the world at the moment.
Yep.
Trent Alexander-Arnold might have something to say about that, but yeah. So all I would say is that on our club side, we are very, very excited about the whole roster. We're so proud that we have Cecilio and we have Tomas as our two DPs, and who knows what happens in the future.
Is there a deadline on that last DP?
You'd have to ask our soccer operations guys that.
It really just comes down to them. I mean, he talked about from the beginning that he's just trying to keep it in the back. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the way he's filled the team out, because Redez isn't a DP, correct? He's not. He's salaried, right? Yeah. So I mean, they've done the balance with, like you said, Beasler in the back and Cascante and Lima and Sweat and Jimenez and all these players. It's a really balanced team. Really,
I will tell you, Rodney. I hear reports from people who are embedded within our soccer ops team of just what how good Rodney is. Quick. I think Josh Wolf was talking about it on a media call a couple of days ago. Quick, dynamic, hungry, but also just what a good person he is. He is a hugely positive character, and has a lot of charisma, a lot of charm, and I think people are, very, very quickly warming to him. So yeah, we're excited about him. We're excited about everybody.
We're excited about you guys, right? Bottom line.
Yeah. Super stoked.
I got a question for you. Where are you going to be watching these games from, Tom?
That's a very good question. Multiple aspects of my job probably require me to be in multiple places. Nationally televised match, I will probably be in our office, working with our social media team, who are going to be split between, we'll have somebody who will be on the ground at games, at away matches, shooting video, shooting photographs, feeding them back to us. So helping with our social media team, but also helping, help steer the PR, the press releases, the video press conferences we have to do, all that kind of stuff. For regionally televised matches, I think probably what I'll be doing is jumping between the press box, the broadcast truck, and as and where I can go and lend a hand to whatever it is that needs to be done, I'll be doing that. I suspect that the last thing that I'll actually be able to do is be able to watch the match.
So it sounds like.
I mean, when you work in sport,
sure,
that's kind of what you get used to.
Sure.
I've done enough of these sports events where you get a very, very rare glimpse of what's actually taking place in front of you. You guys get the best seats in the house.
Yes, we do.
Actually, I had a quick question. Since we're both wearing AFC jerseys in the Premier League, as you know, it's all the rage that every year they kind of release a third kit. Do you know if AFC is going to be doing anything like that?
So one thing I would say is AFC is the term that is used for that mid-table mediocre North London Arsenal team.
Did I say that? I'm so sorry.
I don't know if they
Arsenal. I didn't even mention Arsenal.
Have they?
Funny you mentioned Arsenal. They're such a great team. It's interesting you mentioned that. See what I did there?
I just have this image of Arsene Wenger at Old Trafford, having been sent to the stands, watching his team getting thrashed again.
Could not help it. I couldn't. Okay, Austin FC's third kid.
So,
thank you.
So we say ATX FC. ATX is our tri-code. It's embedded in the stadium, and it is it's part of our identity. But third kit, I couldn't tell you. Cool. That is not something I know anything about.
Cool. Okay. Speaking of watching the games too, I know that they last week they announced the watch party at the Long Center. I think everybody and their dog signed up for that in Austin.
Sold out in like 30 seconds.
Maybe 30 seconds. Yeah. So I don't know if this is a PR thing or not, or if this is more of a sponsorship thing, or if this is your wheelhouse or not. But do you know of? I don't know what the question is really. Maybe is there a bigger spot that we could take over where more people could come? Do we need to?
I guess satellite places where people. I'm sure that.
Or even is the I guess the stadium wouldn't be available, else we'd be playing there. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
I
mean, it's great that it's sold out, obviously, but
I think what you're really asking me is, have I got a way of getting you into that?
No, never. That's ridiculous. Absolutely not.
Nailed it.
That's ridiculous.
So, which the simple answer is I don't. It literally,
Gotcha.
it went in seconds. No, I mean, we're very, very proud, extremely proud that we've been able to work with an iconic Austin venue like the Long Centre to be able to put that on. It's going to be an amazing venue. It's going to be a huge event. But obviously, all run under very strict COVID protocols, and it's going to be done safely. It's going to be done in a way that is very Austin. I think I'm already hearing some stuff about SGs putting on their own watch parties. I've seen some.
Okay.
I think I might have seen some stuff from our friends at Los Verdes, maybe some stuff from friends at Austin Anthem about what their plans are. So I think that you probably wouldn't have to go too far to be able to go and watch that with some fellow supporters. I think also you can sit at home on your comfortable couch and tune into Fox and watch us live on national TV as we embark upon our MLS journey against LAFC, which is going to be quite a game.
Amazing.
I mean, what a season.
It's amazing. Tom, thank you for being so gracious with your time and spending this past 45 minutes with us.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to kind of leave an open table, for you. If there's anything else about Austin FC, ATX FC, that you wanted to leave us with. You've given us some great nuggets today. We appreciate that. Some exclusive stuff, maybe semi-exclusive, but thank you, obviously. And is there anything else you just want to close us with?
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on and talk to you and to your listeners. We welcome any opportunity like this to be able to talk a little bit about what's going on. I think the only thing I would say, I have to do the kind of commercial message. Follow us on social. If you're not already, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have some actually very good content going through that. Tune in, download the app, all of that kind of good stuff. But, thank you to you guys for being part of Austin FC's journey. Thank you to everybody who is getting excited about what's coming. Really, our supporters and the folks in Austin are the lifeblood of our team. They are the very heartbeat of everything that we do. And without their support, we couldn't be here. So that's the message I would like to give: is thank you to every single one of you for being part of this amazing journey.
Cheers.
Well, thank you, Tom. Tom Webb, Austin FC, VP of Public Relations. Thanks for coming on today, Tom. Have a great afternoon and evening, and we'll see you soon, hopefully on the sidelines. I don't know. I feel like tickets, maybe you can make that happen.
Thanks, Tom.
Should we leave with that? We know Tom. Right.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Tom. All right.
Thank you.
So that was a pretty dope interview, right?
Oh, man. Exclusive here. I didn't even know 12 Rivers Realty got the jersey rights.
I mean, let's get past the jerseys.
Was the stadium?
The fact that it's being renamed 12 Rivers Stadium.
I mean.
Can we talk about the queso fountain?
Oh.
I mean.
I can't even speak right now.
Right?
That was so good.
It's
so many nuggets. Tom,
Valentina,
thank you. We
Tom,
appreciate you.
It's going to be fire, dude. I'm going to be so fat.
At every game. Just fat and happy.
It's going to be amazing, dude.
No, that was great.
I'm stoked.
That was great. It was great to hear a little bit about Tom. It's great that he's a Man U fan. Of course he is.
Maybe not. That actually needs to be deleted.
Good to hear about his background. Obviously the guy is
just a cool dude.
He's a footballer. He's a baller. He's great.
And now we're in countdown mode, dude. After talking
we are
to
in
him,
countdown mode.
I got the fever. It's like
I got that fever.
Right? The practice
100%.
is happening. The games are coming up. Everything's in the home stretch.
We got to get in that scrimmage.
Dude.
We got to get on the – we need to stay on that. We got to get in that scrimmage.
Yeah.
We got to get in that practice field too. We're going to sneak in. We're going to sneak in. They're not even going to know it. We're going to be peeping.
Let's go streaking.
That would be the first time.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was kidding. But
or the
that's
last.
Cool. Okay. Let's do it.
No, man, that was great. I hope you listeners out there enjoyed it. We have a much respect for Tom, and we appreciate Tom taking the time to get on here for us. That's a huge land for us as a podcast. Props to Raphael on that. Props to the 12 Rivers production guys. We hope you guys enjoyed the production of the show. We are a versatile podcast, so you might see us somewhere else. You might see us here. You might see us there. But anyway, we're always all about soccer. We're all about Austin FC. We appreciate everybody tuning in. If you haven't gone to our socials yet, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We would appreciate it if you did go to our YouTube channel and subscribe so that we can be valid on YouTube and have our own link.
Word. Go cop your gear.
Yeah.
Get ready for the season.
Yeah, we're
Maybe get some
stoked.
single game tickets. Those will be
Yeah.
out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Get versed on the team. Let's get ready to roll.
That's
AFC,
right. Listos. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate you. See you next time.